Hi everyone, so pleased that you could join us here today. I am here with Ellie Hurley. Obviously, I'm Samantha Riley. I should have introduced myself first. Samantha Riley here from samanthariley.com.au, here with Ellie Hurley from Nudge Marketing. So welcome, Ellie. Pleased to have you here.
Thanks, Sam. It's lovely to be here. Thanks for having me on your show.
I am very excited to delve into chatbots with you today because when I first saw chatbots came out, I thought, oh yeah, next shiny object thing, and it's not. I've learned so much since they've come out. Go, okay, right. Let's get someone on that knows what they're talking about, and let's dive into this because this is super valuable, especially in what we're doing. You know, for coaches, consultants, for people that are in business, well, any business owners, but we're specifically going to dive into how we can use chatbots today for coaches and consultants. So I can see that we've got some people on live. As you come on, say hi, let us know where you are. And at any time, as Ellie and I are talking, and she has got so much to share with us, please pop your questions up, and at the end we'll go through them. And Ellie has promised that she'll stay here and help us till we get everything answered. So while people are jumping in, Ellie, tell us, let's start at the beginning. What is a chatbot?
Okay, I guess the simplest term for a chatbot is it's a piece of software that you can attach to Messenger, and you can then program that based on actions. So if someone clicks on a button, for example, you could send them to a specific message. So you don't need any dev skills or anything like that. You don't have to be a coder. It's all what you see is what you get. And you just you set it up so that it automates the messages that go out to people based on the actions that they take.
Let me know in the comments if you have opted into a chatbot, if you know what we're talking about. Hi, Faye. So great to see you. Wollongong. Oh, what's it like down there today? Up in Sydney, it's super grey. How about where you are, Ellie?
Well, I'm up at Lake Macquarie, and we've got a glorious day up here at the moment. I'm looking out at the lake at the moment, and we've got lovely blue skies. There are a few clouds around, but no, it's a stunning day here. A bit hot, though.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm not jealous about that. And no. Hi, Mike. Hey, Karen. So pleased that you could join us. Oh, raining for Faye. No good, no good. All right. So chatbots, they are automated messages through Messenger.
Yes.
What sort of things can we use chatbots for? Let's start there. How can we use them in our business, some different applications that we might like to look at?
I think probably the most simplistic way to get started with something like this, Sam, is that you actually utilize it to generate more leads. Then you can actually pre-qualify those leads. So what you can do with that is ask different questions and put people in buckets there and then. And that gives you a really good opportunity to pre-qualify your leads. You can use them for quizzes. You can use them to get people to register for events or webinars. You can use them for customer service. They're fantastic for customer service. If you've got maybe half a dozen or a dozen questions that you're constantly having to field, you can set keywords up within your chatbot, and then your chatbot actually will answer those on your behalf. So when the person asks the question, they get the answer straight away. They're not having to wait around for a human to respond to them. So there's that immediacy. And we've become a society where, you know, immediate gratification is what it's all about. When we want something, we want it like right now.
Yeah, so interesting point that you've made there, because when I very first saw chatbots come into my world, I was like, no one is going to want to chat to a bot. People are going to want to chat to real people. And it didn't take me very long to realize it's not actually taking over the, us as a real person. But straight away, I could see if I'm booking dinner, for example, I can just book it and have it all confirmed and coming through. Or if I want a specific, like a lead magnet, it just happens automatically. And so it sort of changed my way of thinking, from thinking we're actually replacing people, but opening up a whole new opportunity there.
Yeah, and I think that you make a really good point there. It's not that we're replacing people. We're just taking away some of those mundane tasks that we can automate, that we don't necessarily need to be doing ourselves, but we're doing it in such a way that we're actually answering the customer and meeting them where they are. With, say, SMS and email, for example, it's a very one-dimensional conversation. You're sort of constantly sending stuff out to people, but you don't know, one, whether or not they're even getting it and opening it. But there's no real opportunity for them to have a real-time conversation with you there and then. Whereas with Messenger, you can send some information out, ask them one or two questions, or ask them a sort of a closed question where they can push a button to say yes or no to get a different response. Or you can ask an open-ended question and then give them the ability to ask to speak to a human if that's what they want to do.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Didn't even think of that. Of course. So for people that are listening, and let's say there's, let's go with Coach, and probably the easiest lead magnet would funnel would be just straight to a lead magnet. How does give us an example of someone that you've worked with, like a client who's used this just as part of their opt-in funnel?
Okay, so what they would do, the messenger that I'm talking about is specifically Facebook Messenger. This will eventually open up, and it will be available for LinkedIn and any other platform that has messaging available in it. But for example, so you would create a post on Facebook, and you would put a bit of a blurb in there in relation to what the lead magnet is that you're offering. So it could be 10 ways to engage with your customers more quickly. You would have your image or a short video for them. And there's two things you could do. You could either put a URL in there, which would take them straight into one specific set of messages that you've set up in Messenger. Or you could ask them to put a comment in the message, which you may have already come across, which is called the comment to message tool. And then that would take them into Messenger, and the PDF would be delivered to them there and then. As soon as they actually action something in Messenger, they will then receive the PDF straight away. One of the great things about Messenger, Sam, is that it's actually permission-based marketing. We can't just send stuff out to anybody willy-nilly. People have to actually take an action with us inside Messenger to allow us to have that conversation and to continue with them. So that would be the first step. So they receive their PDF. You could then set something up so that you send a question out maybe the day after, or even 3 hours after, and just say, hey, how have you gone with the PDF? This is a result what my clients have got. And that's where you could sort of start giving them information about how they could utilize it in their business.
I love that, permission-based marketing.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone I'm sure has had one of those spammy messages on LinkedIn, or you've connected with someone on LinkedIn, and then all of a sudden you've got something in your email box and you're like, I didn't opt in for that, and how did you get my email? So yeah. I think and I'd love you to talk more about this. I'm guessing that because there is that permission there, that people are more likely to open it.
Oh, look, 100%. I'm not sure what your email inbox looks like, but I have to say mine is probably embarrassing and something that I shouldn't mention out loud. But, I've probably got about 1,000 unread emails in there, and I get to a point where it gets to maybe 4,000 or 5,000, and I do bulk delete. So I've got 1 or 2 emails that I consistently read, which are the ones that I give to specific people. So with email marketing, my open rates at the moment with my CRM, which is Ontraport, is somewhere between 10 and 20%, probably sitting at around 12, 13 on average, which is, that's dreadful. And the click-through rates on those are anywhere between sort of 1.5% and 6% if I'm lucky. With messenger marketing, you've got the open rates are up around the 87% is the average across the board at the moment. And the click-through rates are sitting at around about 60, 65%. So you don't have to send out that many messages or have that many subscribers to actually have things happen. The difference is just massive. So if you've got 4 times more people actually clicking through, which is either opening up your content or landing on a web page or something, and then they're actually far more likely to buy from you, which is the next statistic that's great. 5 to 10 times more likely for someone that interacts with you on Messenger will go through and complete a transaction with you.
Wow. Let me know we've got some people watching. Am I the only person that just got extremely excited by 5 to 10 times more likely to buy and an 87% open rate? Or am I the only one here that's just like, oh? It's awesome.
Yeah. And I think, and that's where the opportunity lies, but it's a case of, people need to jump in now. We don't have to look that far back. We had sort of Google AdWords that did really, really well. Then SEO sort of came in and took over. Then Facebook advertising in 2012. And, these things were all great, especially for the early adopters. People got in and they made an absolute killing on some of these platforms. But we all know that real estate and the cost to advertise in these places now is a lot more than it used to be. Messenger marketing still new. People aren't using it as much as other people. There's only about 5% of businesses that are actually utilizing Messenger at the moment. So it's a very real opportunity for people to jump in and do it, rather than in 12 months' time sort of look back and go, God, I wish I'd done that when I heard Sam and Ellie talking about it.
Totally. And it's the same as when Instagram started. The people that got in right at the ground level, they've got huge amounts of followers now. And that's where I thought with this too. It's the thing now, so get in first. Yeah, cool.
Well, over in America, and I firmly believe this myself, they actually are stating that this is going to be the biggest marketing platform within the next 5 years.
Wow.
That's a big statement to be making.
Yeah, okay. And what I picked up out of that was they're expecting it to be around in 5 years.
This is going to be around to stay. You may be familiar with a platform called WeChat, which is the messaging platform that they use in China.
Yes.
Because Facebook's not allowed in there. With WeChat over there, just as an example, people go and buy stuff in shops, and 89 or 90% of those people actually make payments through their WeChat, even when they're in the physical shop.
Yeah, so and I believe that you can even do it from, I know Chinese people that are still doing that from Australia too.
Yes, yeah, it's pretty amazing. And you can book your Uber, you can book your takeout. You can do payments in the UK and in the US on Facebook Messenger now, and that will be in Australia before probably mid-year, I think. There's a few hiccups here with the Australian government and the big boys need to sort something out.
Oh, probably that they don't understand what's going on.
It's just it's one of those monetary regulations that they just need to make sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Politics. All right. Yeah. So, how do you get started?
Look, the simplest way is you need to deploy some sort of chatbot software. The one that we use and recommend is called ManyChat. That's ManyChat. The reason we recommend that one is they have a free version for people first starting out. So it's fantastic. And that gives them unlimited subscribers. But there is a little bit of ManyChat branding on it and a couple of the tools you can't utilize. But even the next plan is $10. You can start for $10 a month, and that gives you up to 500 subscribers, which is, it's pretty easy to get started with that. And for $10 a month, that pretty much opens up everybody's Messenger inbox for you. So that would be my suggestion. So you need a Facebook page. You connect your Facebook page to your chatbot software, which is either ManyChat. Another one that a lot of people are using is Chatfuel, but it's a lot more expensive. It starts at around about $30 a month to get started. And this is US dollars I'm talking here too, Sam.
Yep. Okay, so you mentioned that it's linked up to a page. Just for anyone that's thinking, okay, well, there's a new algorithm change and people aren't necessarily going to my page. They don't necessarily need to be on your page to interact with your bot, do they?
No, they don't. No. So there's different types of growth tools that you can actually deploy and utilize with your chatbot. Some of them, they have widgets that you can put onto your website. You can print out, the old QR codes that you used to be able to print out. There's a scan code that you can get with inside Messenger, where they can scan that through Messenger and it'll take them to a specific series of messages within Messenger. You can have a customer chat icon on the bottom of your website, different pages. You can put like the old hello bars on your website.
Yes.
And then you can still use your Facebook posts, and it is becoming very much a pay-to-play platform for businesses. But if you do have, if you're doing Facebook Lives, for example, they're getting about 4 times the airspace in the news feed as just standard posts and stuff. So you can still attach either a URL or something where you can take them from that back into your Messenger. And the beauty is, as soon as you've got them in Messenger, that's then the app where all of your communication and everything takes place.
Yeah. Now, Marissa's asked a really great question, and I know this is something that you and I were talking about before we even jumped on the call today. Marissa's asked, do you still need a CRM?
Look, I would say yes at this particular point in time. Email marketing is a lot harder than it used to be, and we're not getting the open rates and the attention that we used to in email. But it's going to be a little bit like good old postal mail, lumpy mail and stuff like that. People sort of got inundated with it and stopped using it. But when we get stuff in the letterbox now, we sort of jump up and down and cheer and actually read it again. And email does still have a place within a marketing strategy and within a business strategy. So yeah, I wouldn't be chucking it out right now. Maybe in 4 or 5 years, when things sort of get to the next level with messenger marketing, or maybe even not that far into the future, maybe reassess then. But for now, it's an as well as, not an instead of.
Yeah, I totally agree. And while things are still new, you still want to be able to keep in contact with your clients. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know where that's going to go.
Yeah. The other one last thing about that, sorry, Sam, just to
no.
With your CRM, that's actually still your database and you own that real estate. Whereas with Messenger, you're playing in Facebook sandpit, and they do have some fairly stringent policies and regulations, and they are quite strict with some of the things that are going on. And there have been some pages that have fallen foul of their rules. So, you do need to be a little bit careful.
Yeah. All it takes is you to make a simple mistake, and it can be that. A simple mistake, and if you're out and you can't contact with clients, big troubles. Yeah,
absolutely.
Totally. So are we able to put? So say we go on and we subscribe to ManyChat. Are we able to start off ourselves and put it together ourselves, or is this something that someone else needs to do?
It's definitely something you could go in and have a look at and play with yourself. ManyChat have actually got a fantastic library of instructional videos on how to use the actual software itself within YouTube, and there's a link in the bottom of the platform where you can access those. It's more the strategic way that you implement it into your, I guess, overall business strategy. If you've got a really good handle on that and where you see it fitting into your customer journey and where you can see you should use it in your business, then yeah, you're pretty right to go. It's not a difficult program to utilize. There are some quirky things to it. And as you start to develop some of the things that you might want to do, if you wanted to run a quiz, for example, and then collect that data, you would need to start integrating, which brings in Zapier and spreadsheets and different things like that. So it can get a little bit more technical if you want to, but starting off with just the simple stuff, 100%, just get in there and have a play.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, I have been in there and had a play, but straight away I realized it's actually not the implementation that's the problem, it's the strategy, because it's very different to an email sequence, because
100%.
if you wrote a big email as it's coming through Messenger, no one's going to read it. So it's a very different strategy.
Yeah. Well, we've got like these things here, you've only got that much real estate with your message. And there's new job descriptions popping up for this now. There's conversational strategists, and this Messenger is all about that. It's about having a conversation. If you think about how you speak to your friends on Messenger, that's how you need to be interacting with your business clients as well. We don't pick the phone up anymore. We don't send emails. We barely send SMSs to people anymore. 90% of us pretty much run our whole life through Messenger.
Yeah. It's quite intriguing how quickly it's all changed, right? I mean, even thinking about, when I was a kid, we used to have people pop in on a Sunday afternoon. They'd knock on the door, and we would, like, as kids, we'd all run up behind mum and dad to see who was at the door. If someone knocked on my door these days, I'd be like, who is that? I reckon I'd go hide in the bedroom.
Yeah.
If I wasn't expecting someone, things have changed so quickly.
Yeah, they have. And it's, a lot of people sort of say, oh, we've gone backwards and people are a lot more insular now than they used to be. But, Messenger gives you the opportunity to speak to anyone, anywhere in the world. Yeah. And you can send video through it, you can send audio, you can, there's so much you can do. And it's just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah, and I think it's actually not insular. Like, I get where people are going with that. But I mean, I don't know if you've seen the picture of men on a train in the 40s, and they're all behind their newspapers.
Yeah.
And they were just reading a paper, where now we might be talking with these people across the world, and you might say we're reacting less, but you're actually building a relationship. And last time I went to America, I had a dinner with 20 people I'd never met before, because we'd all connected over Facebook, over social media. So it's not that social media is making us interact less, it's how you interact with social media. And I think Chatbots it's incredible. I've only seen a tiny bit of it. I probably have no idea. You'd lose me in a conversation extremely quickly, I think, but I've seen that there's a huge potential here.
Yeah, it's like Commonwealth Bank here in Australia have just released their chatbot, which is an AI-based chatbot. So it is slightly different to the ManyChat one we're talking about here. And it's called Seba. This chatbot can answer over 60,000 different variations of questions, or 200 different variations of questions in 60,000 ways.
Wow.
And that's from customer, what's my balance, I guess, to how do I open an account, to how do I close my account? And, so the bigger businesses have sat up and they have realized that this is where they need to be. And they're starting to move in that direction.
Yeah.
So it really is something, it's something that, but it's a perfect opportunity for small businesses as well, because I was talking to someone the other day about it, and there's very rarely a conversation I have where chatbots don't get mentioned. Now, it's just, I think Russell Brunson says, if you're so obsessed about something, you realize that you've hit the nail on the head. And chatbots and Pixie, which is our chatbot, have kind of that for me at the moment. And it's like you've got a virtual assistant, but it's a virtual assistant that you've programmed. So it does exactly what you say. There's no emotion attached to it. And it consistently delivers the same quality of service every single minute of the day, 24/7. Now, if you were to employ a human to do that, it would cost you an absolute mint, and you would have to deal with the emotions and all of the other issues that come with real people.
Totally. So for anyone that's listening in live now, I'd love you to share what your biggest takeaway has been so far. If you've got any questions, please pop them in. Ellie, I'd love you to give us an example of probably the number one, I guess, chatbot function as coaches or consultants that we should probably look at to begin with, like the very, very first one that we're setting up that's nice and simple.
Okay, I think if I was doing that, Sam, I would either be utilizing my lead magnet, or if you run webinars for your as your lead magnet, you could set it up so that they can come into Messenger and that they can register there and then, so you keep them within the Messenger platform. One of the things that's fantastic about this is people are used to communicating in Messenger with their friends and family. So when they do get messages from business, they actually are far more likely to continue interacting. As soon as you take them out of the Messenger environment back to a landing page or somewhere else, you do have that, you lose that seamlessness. You're adding a little bit of friction. And so that would be what I would probably suggest that they start out with. The second thing that I would highly recommend is that they actually have a look at Facebook's terms and their policies in relation to this, just so they understand completely what it is that they're doing and what they can and can't do.
Is there something that you can, like, what are the main things that we need to pay attention here to make sure that we're complying with?
Okay, I think the biggest problem that people are facing at the moment, there's something called a broadcast message where you can send a message out to everybody that's in a subscriber within your messenger. And a lot of people are and you can send out promotional material as long as someone has interacted with you in the last 24 hours. Now, so what that means is that they've either hit a button or replied to a question or anything else that you need to, that you've asked them to do. So there's been some sort of conversation exchange with them. And where people are falling foul is they're sending a message out maybe 26 hours later or 3 days later that's still got promotional material in it, and they're getting their accounts closed down. The good thing is Facebook know this is new. So there's they do have that leniency, so people can appeal and they can sort of put their hand up and say, hand on heart, I've made a big mistake. It was human error. Please give me my account back. And they're allowing that to happen. If you were to reoffend, you'd be gone.
Yeah,
so
gotcha.
That's the biggest one. The second one is with the engagement baiting, which came out just before Christmas, where Facebook was starting to come down really heavy on people that were asking people to like, comment, and share.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not adding any value, this is all about adding value to people's lives. So there's no point putting a post up saying like, comment, love this if you love rock and roll.
Yeah.
Because it's not really adding any value to people. But if you're sending out some really high quality content and you've got a PDF that you want people to then subscribe to by putting some sort of comment in the button, you've just got to be a little bit creative with the conversation and with your wording. So you word it in such a way that they will put some sort of comment in there, which then will trigger Messenger to send it out for them.
Cool. All right. Now, I saw that you are running a competition right now.
Yeah, we are.
I did notice it came in front of me and went, I'm going to talk to her about this.
Yeah, what we're actually doing, Sam, and this is to build some, I guess down here in Australia, the chatbot sort of revolution hasn't really taken off quite as much as it has up in the States. And so one of the ways we thought we would start to spread the word and spread the love was that we would run a competition where we would offer to build someone's chatbot for them. There's a post that's pinned on the top of our Facebook page, which is just nudgemarketing.au. And they've just got to watch the video and follow the instructions. And we're drawing it on the 14th of February because being Valentine's Day, we sort of thought, we've got this, we've fallen head over heels in love with chatbots and Pixie. So we thought that we'd draw it on Valentine's Day.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah. And that's so that's the value of that's around about $1,500 and that's a fairly straightforward bot. So yeah, anyone that wants to enter, head over to the Facebook page and just follow the instructions there.
We'll pop the link in the comments after I'm off. I'll make sure that we pop the link in there. I'll pop the link in there for that and for ManyChat. Is there any last things that you would like to share with us, Ellie, that we haven't covered?
Look, I think now's the time to act. Don't delay. I've seen a couple of the people say that they really need to get in and find out something about it. We're running some webinars over the next couple of weeks, Sam, with just a bit more detail for people. So I'm happy to send you a link along for that if you're happy for me to put that in the notes.
Pop it in the comments below, and then that means that the people that are watching the replay as well can get hold of that.
Yeah. And that's just an hour, and it'll just give people a little bit more of an idea of what the chatbots are. I go through and I actually show some examples of how you can use them. And then the other exciting bit of news is we've got our beta course that's going to be launched on the 31st of January, where we'll actually be walking people through the actual strategy as well as the how-to of using ManyChat.
How exciting! So, got lots going on. Yeah, shoot. Make sure they either shoot the emails, shoot the links through to me, and I'll pop them in the comments below. Oh, got it out eventually.
See, if you had a chatbot talking to me, that would have just rolled off your tongue.
Well, mate, that's what we got to do then. So I can just go and have coffee, and you can chat to the bot, and it will make so much more sense.
Yeah. Set Pixie up to chat to your bot. Actually, that's one of the things that I would, just to finish, I think that's probably a really good point to finish on, Sam. One of the things that we've done, we've personalized our bot, and I think that's really important because there are some people out there that are using their bot pretending that it's them talking, And it gets to a point where the conversation gets really complicated because they ask a question that the bot can't answer. So they get some sort of default message saying, you know, someone will be back to you in 24 hours, which is really detrimental to the trust that you had built up with that person, because all of a sudden it's like, oh, I thought I was talking to Ellie,
Yes.
but in fact, I'm actually talking to some sort of robot. You know, I'm not going to go back and do any business with them anymore. So personalizing and being upfront about the fact that it is actually a chatbot that's being used, I think, is really important.
I agree. And it was funny. I was speaking to a good friend of mine, Carl Taylor, when they first came out. And I think he went over to traffic conversion, and I said, what was the biggest thing you got from it? And that was his biggest takeaway, is that make sure that people understand it's a bot right from the beginning, so that you know that you're interacting with a bot, because otherwise you're not going to hurt the relationship with them knowing that, but you could potentially hurt the relationship if someone thinks, oh, what? Like, Ellie's being really rude today. Like, why did it have to end like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful. Ellie, thanks so much for sharing with us today. I will be sure to put all the links below. Thank you for everyone that's joined us live. And if you're joining us on the replay, please pop your comments below. Ellie's in the group. She's a great member of the group, and I'm sure she won't mind jumping in and answering questions as they pop up. So be sure to put them in there. But yeah, thanks so much, Ellie, for joining us.
No problem, Sam. Thanks for having me today. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for joining. Ciao.
Bye.